Hey, how are you? I hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to Burnout and Brake Stuff. The last video we covered entering the trunk to get out a broken lock cylinder. And what I learned from that is I believe after examining what I have for a cylinder, I won't have to replace it. All I have to do is remove this spring, use some epoxy, and replace the little metal part that's broken with epoxy, and then all that's holding the shaft in to open the trunk lid is the center of this spring. So once I get that glued, I can drill a small hole through there, put my stud back through there, and then put the spring on it, and I should be fixed. So I'll set that aside. Fill neck seal. That's, I don't need to remove the tank to replace that. I'd like to just be able to put a fill neck seal on it without removing the tank. Not a big deal. However, we have an issue with our fuel gauge. As we would see in the first video, covering just a basic intro on the car, the fuel gauge would go to 1/4 of a tank and not any higher. So I've rigged up a fuel sending unit, the wiring for the fuel sending unit to this B series van instrument cluster, and I have a little jump pack back here, and I'll show you how I'm going to troubleshoot that by crawling under the car, removing the feed wire to the sending unit, and then applying a chassis ground to that unit should send the fuel gauge full sweep. So we'll start with this, and I'm going to move the camera around where you can see this fuel gauge a little bit better. Let's see, just there, and let's zoom in on that. Okay. So here's our float on our sending unit, and as we move that float up towards full, we can see our fuel gauge following in step. Okay, get the idea. Now, if I unplug the feed to it and then I use chassis ground, we should see this. That tells us we have full sweep on our gauge, and our issue is the sending unit in the tank, which will then require me to drop the tank, which just a little bit more work needs to be done. Let's make it happen. I'll get Roadie up on the lift, and we'll move over to troubleshooting on Roadie. All right, let's get to it. Okay, so here's our rear tire leaf spring, our exhaust pipe headed out, and right up in there, right there. That is our fuel sending unit. I have removed the wiring from the sending unit and connected this ground strap here, the ground connection, and okay, there's stuff. Right, thank you. Connected to knocking that over, and right there, I just put it on the axle housing, and let's go see if our fuel gauge runs itself to full. Alright, there's my key, there's the fuel gauge. See if I can fit myself down in here. And there we are, right there. And the ignition. Oh, yay. All right, there we go, right up to full with the ground. So I know the gauge is good. I know the gauge is good now. So it's in the sending unit itself. Yeah, I love it. Okay, what's with all the, yeah, so here's our sending units. And since that's only going up about 1/4 of a tank, what I was thinking might be happening, I've seen this happen in the past, is right where this brass float is pinched by that ring, they will corrode. And they just need to be cleaned and the hole soldered shut. Not a big deal. So that's, looks like though I'm gonna have to pull the fuel tank completely out of there, which means I'll, since that license plate bracket is locked up in there due to the fasteners, the nuts just spinning on the threads of the studs, that's junk. So I'll have to figure out how to get that apart. I think it'll just be easier if I pull the valance panel off, the rock guard as they call it in the service manual. Pull that out of there, and that'll make it a little bit easier to straighten probably. So get back to it. Hey there, you're still here after all that monkey motion? If you are, I want you to know that I greatly appreciate you tuning in and seeing what we have going on in the shop. I greatly appreciate everyone who subscribes. That's helping grow our channel, and I greatly appreciate that. Please like, share, and comment. The comments are great input for what direction, what direction we're gonna go, and I greatly appreciate all of you. I truly want you to know that. We need more positive in our world, and let's work to make the experience great, fun. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for tuning in.